Learning Plan 6 gets into some of the different models that are used for problem solving. There are several different models. If you went online and you did some researching for problem solving models, you're going to see all different kinds of versions of problem solving models. I don't think there's any real right or wrong model to follow. I think the key is deciding on which model fits your organization and then sticking to that and making it universal throughout the organization so everyone's using the same thing. The most fundamental one, and the one that probably got the whole quality effort started, is it's called the Schuhart continuous improvement model. And it's an improvement cycle that has to do with plan, do, check, and act. Those are the 4 steps on the cycle. And if you picture those words in a circle, starting out with planning, planning has to do with, well, planning to make some kind of an improvement. We're going to plan to reduce the scrap, or we're going to plan to reduce the variation on a process. Whatever it is, that's part of the planning phase. Once you have completed the planning stage, or you're about to finish the planning stage, then you're going to take and you're going to go to the do stage. So you plan it, then you do it. When you do it, you're basically trying to find the root cause of problems, trying to improve problems, coming up with solutions, maybe theories that you think are going to correct the problem. So that's that whole process of actually doing something to improve the process. Once you finish that cycle, or that part of the cycle, then you want to check. You want to make the changes. You want to make the improvements that you think are going to make a difference, but you need to check that. You need to make sure that that what you have in place is really correcting the problem and really addressing the problem and getting to the root causes. So we've gone through plan, do, check, and then the third step is to act. It's nothing more than, okay, we did the checking, we found out that yes, this in fact will work to improve quality. Now we're going to act on it. We're going to take and we're going to say, well, we need to have some kind of a procedure in place. We need to have people trained, and we need to make this known for all the stakeholders that are impacted by the improvement. So that's the act part. Act also might include, well, if this worked in a particular department, maybe part of the act is to apply it to the other departments as well. Not always, but sometimes it's universal. And then the cycle continues. Then the next project or the next issue is addressed, and it's, as the cycle indicates, it's a continuous improvement. It's never ending. Once you finish one thing, you move on to another, and you apply the cycle once again. Oftentimes you might come back to a problem that you've already improved upon, but now it's time to improve even more upon it. So again, it's a cycle that's repeated over and over and over again in a lot of organizations. Now in your materials, they're going to explain the Joyner 7-step model. When you look at that, I think you're going to find similarities with the Plan, Do, Check model, or the Plan, Do, Check, Act model. They use a little bit different terminology, but when it comes right down to it, it's the Plan, Do, Check, Act model. You'll find some other ones. There's 5-step models. There's all kinds of different models that are basically derived, I think, from the Plan, Do, Check, and Act. Even the latest, I guess, effort in Six Sigma efforts, and you're going to learn more about that in the next class in the progression here in the Six Sigma class. But Six Sigma is based on a term called DMAIC. DMAIC is just an acronym that stands for Define, Measure, and Analyze, Improve, and Control. And once again, if you go back to the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle, it's pretty much utilizing the same concepts in that as well. So that's the focus on this learning plan. Later on in the course, you're going to be required to take a look at an organization. It might be your organization that you work for, or maybe a former employer, or maybe you know someone who's working somewhere. And what you're going to do is you want to see what kind of model, if any, that organization uses for continuous improvement. Some of you are going to find that there's some companies that use some real structured approaches and others that don't. So again, Learning Plan 6 is all about learning about different models for continuous improvement.